Epcot was designed with amazing attention to detail, so much so that many guests overlook the hidden places and secret spots which make this theme park truly shine. I created a list of Epcot secrets to help you discover some of the interesting facts, lesser-known attractions, and hidden corners of this Disney theme park. It's a fascinating destination, and these Epcot secrets can only enhance your experience. Stay tuned! If you are new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell in order to stay up to date on the latest in Disney World videos. Walt Disney World's Epcot can really transport you to a different world. Whether it's the educational and thrilling attractions, beautiful grounds and imagery, or the world-class cuisine and shopping, there is something for everyone at Epcot. This Walt Disney World theme park is a treasure in every respect and should be a top priority of your Disney vacation itinerary. When World Showcase was constructed, space for an additional 10 countries remained. The Norway and Morocco pavilions were added later, but there is still room for 8 more. Thanks to the magic of fiber optic lighting, Future World comes to life at night. Between Spaceship Earth and Innoventions Plaza, the pavement becomes illuminated and animated. Most guests bypass this area at night, so the dazzling display of lighting magic remains somewhat of an Epcot secret. Before Illuminations Reflections of Earth begins, a large rock does something peculiar. The top of the rock opens and the lighting equipment for Illuminations appears. The landscape in the Canada Pavilion changes with the seasons. During the winter, the landscape is white. During autumn, it is red and gold, and so on. The pathways in the China Pavilion seem unusually narrow because Imagineers designed them to simulate the crowded walkway experience of Chinese cities. You can purchase a personalized fan at the China Pavilion, and a cast member will write your name on it in Chinese. The Eiffel Tower is one of the only Epcot attractions that guests cannot access. Also, Imagineers designed the Eiffel Tower to appear larger by using forced perspective, a technique that involves making the bottom of the structure much larger than the top. Notice the statue in the Japan Pavilion. The government of Japan gifted this statue to Magic Kingdom when it opened. However, it was later moved to Epcot when the Japan Pavilion was built. See if you can find the talking trash can inside the Electric Umbrella restaurant. It's plugged into the wall, and when you open the can, it talks to you. Walt Disney envisioned people living at Epcot, but this plan never came to fruition. His original concept for the park was to create a real city that would never cease to be a blueprint for the future. Epcot spans 300 acres, which is twice the size of Magic Kingdom. The distance around the entire World Showcase Lagoon, from China to Canada, is 1.25 miles. Mexico is on one end, then Norway, then China. One reason why the concrete paths around World Showcase Lagoon are red is to make the grass appear greener. Each country in World Showcase has the exact same frontage space. While some countries cover more land on the inside, Disney World wanted all countries to have equal frontage on the outside. The same is true with the height of each country's tallest structure. The Eiffel Tower or mountains in Canada Pavilion, for example, may appear taller than some of the structures in the other countries. However, this is not the case. Forced perspective gives the illusion of height. Disney hires natives of each country represented in the World Showcase. This presents guests with a wonderful opportunity to interact with cast members who have first-hand experience of the country they represent. Beware of the wooden crates lying around African outposts. You may get soaked if you open one. At around 5 p.m. the drawbridge opens and barges are launched into the lagoon to prepare for the Illuminations fireworks show. Guests must wait until after the drawbridge is lowered back into place to cross. The colonial-style building at the American Adventure Pavilion uses reverse forced perspective to make the structure appear smaller than it actually is. From the outside, it looks as though the building is 2.5 stories. In actuality, it has 5 stories. Disney Imagineers determined that the building had to be large enough to house its auditorium, but not so large that the structure would appear inappropriate for colonial times. They added massive windows and doorways to create the illusion of a smaller building. The facade was constructed using 110,000 handmade bricks from Georgia red clay. Each brick was aged to look authentic. Notice that you are led up to the second floor to watch the show. The secret reason for this is because all the props, staging, and equipment used during the show are stored beneath the audience's seats. They are secretly slid in and out of this area during the performance. There is an interesting painting of a World War II B-17 bomber in the left corner of the rotunda. As you walk back and forth in front of the painting, the plane appears to shift with your movement. Forced perspective was used in the design of Hotel de Canada. The structure, which was modeled after a hotel in Ottawa, stands at only 3 stories tall. However, Disney Imagineers added 5 stories of windows to make the hotel appear taller. Of the 3 totem poles on display in the Canada Pavilion, only one is genuine. The real totem pole is 30 feet tall and weighs 700 pounds. It was carved by an Indian named David Boxley and depicts a traditional story told amongst Northwest coastal Indians. The other 2 totem poles are made of stacked fiberglass. While in Canada, stroll through the picturesque and tranquil Victoria Gardens, a replica of the gardens in Vancouver. The serene waterfall was added to the gardens to mask the sounds of a noisy generator directly behind it. The Temple of Heaven is a smaller-scale recreation of an original landmark in Beijing. If you speak while standing exactly in the middle of the building, you will hear your voice echo back to you. This is because the temple is acoustically perfect. You may notice the pavement becomes darker between France and Morocco pavilions. This is meant to represent the Strait of Gibraltar, even though the actual strait lies between Morocco and Spain. Like in other Disney World parks, there are hidden Mickeys around every corner of Epcot. When you are in the Germany Pavilion, see if you can spot the hidden Mickeys inside the train set. If you happen to be in Germany around the top of the hour, look for the clock towards the back of the courtyard. On the hour, a boy and girl emerge to ring the bells as chimes fill the air. Walk to the far back corner of the Germany Pavilion and notice a wall covered by a mural. If you knock on it, you will hear a hollow sound. The area behind the wall was intended to be the entrance to the Rhine River Cruise boat ride, but this attraction was never opened. If you head to the fountains behind the shops at Italy Pavilion, look for a set of small red buttons. Push them and watch as water sprays out of several different locations. The Japanese pagoda has 5 stories. Each story represents an element which Buddhists believe all things in the universe are created. In ascending order, they are earth, water, fire, wind, and sky. The pyramid in Mexico didn't always have the relief carvings adorning its sides. These were added after Disney cast members noticed that kids really like to climb on the steps. The King of Morocco was so excited when his country was asked to join Epcot's World Showcase that he sent his own men to construct the area free of charge. To this day, the king sends craftsmen to repair and make improvements to the Morocco Pavilion, still free of charge. All the tiles and carvings in the Morocco Pavilion were handmade. Each mosaic has at least one flawed tile in its design. Since religious belief dictates that only Allah can create something that is perfect, Moroccan artisans intentionally added flawed features to make the tiles imperfect. As other pavilions in World Showcase light up as part of the illumination show, the temple in the Morocco Pavilion stays dark so as not to violate their religious beliefs. The backside of Hollywood Studios' attraction, Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, is extremely visible when you are in Morocco. Imagineers didn't want this structure to interfere with guests' Epcot experience, so they decorated the backside of the building to blend in perfectly with the scenery of the Morocco Pavilion. The museum in the Morocco Pavilion isn't necessarily a secret, but many guests miss it entirely. Hidden behind an ornately tiled doorway, the little museum known as Gallery of Arts and History exhibits a variety of wonderful art and artifacts from Morocco. To learn more secret facts and discover hidden spots, take the 20-minute guided tour of the Morocco Pavilion. It's informative, fun, and free. There is a museum inside Stave Church. Hidden behind two imposing wooden doors and a red Viking sign, this museum hosts a variety of Norwegian artifacts, including an authentic Viking sword dating back to over 1,000 years. The small bridge that crosses between the UK and France Pavilion represents crossing the English Channel. The tops of the chimneys in the United Kingdom Pavilion were painted black to look like soot from the working chimneys. Disney Imagineers came up with the name Rose and Crown Pub after their research found that the words Rose and Crown were the two most common words used to name pubs in the UK. They combined these words to name this popular Epcot pub. There is a great little park modeled after Hyde Park in London behind shops and restaurants in the UK Pavilion. Most people don't even notice this area, but it is worth taking the time to explore. There is even a real hedge maze. Notice the architecture in the row of shops on the right side of the United Kingdom Pavilion. These buildings were constructed to represent different time periods in United Kingdom history. The first shop, Tea Caddy, features a thatched roof, low ceilings, hearth, and dark lighting, all typical of the 1600s. The second shop, with its higher ceilings and simple wrought iron light fixtures, represents the 1700s. The third building was constructed in typical 1800s neoclassical fashion with ornate windows and lighting. The HRC, Historic Research Section, is an area inside of the United Kingdom Pavilion where cast members help you research information about your family history. You can even get your family crest printed as a souvenir. Check out the street number on the mailbox on the farmhouse at Living with the Land. It's 82, representing the year that Epcot opened to the public, 1982. There are some amazing crops growing indoors at Living with the Land. In fact, one of the tomato trees holds the Guinness World Records title for the most yield in 1 year. It produced an astonishing 32,000 tomatoes, weighing around 1,152 pounds in just 1 year. The Mission Space attraction at Epcot uses more computer power than the real NASA space shuttle. In Mission Space, try pressing all the switches and dials at once. Don't be alarmed if you hear the voice over the loudspeaker telling you to cut it out. See if you can find hidden Mickeys in the ceiling and walls at the Mission Space gift shop. If you are looking for a dry place to wait out a rain shower, head underneath Spaceship Earth. The structure has an innovative drainage system which collects rainwater and then channels it down to a support structure and into the World Showcase Lagoon. If you are wondering why your flight number is 5505 on Soarin', it's because Imagineers used the ride's opening date of May 5th, 2005. The aquarium holds 5.7 gallons of salt water, measures 203 feet in diameter, and has a depth of 27 feet. Spaceship Earth, which is 160 feet in diameter, could comfortably fit inside this massive structure. The saltwater aquarium was the largest of its kind in the world until Georgia Aquarium surpassed it in 2005. The Living Seas Pavilion was renamed the Seas with Nemo and Friends in 2005. It was the first pavilion at Epcot to be named after an animated Disney movie. Circle of Life was the first Epcot attraction based on an animated Disney property. This has been a look at the many secrets of Epcot. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Innovention Media. Bye bye!